Hey,
Blog
welcome
Talk
to
Radio.
Hey, welcome to RIR Radio. I'm John Hollis. You listened to our first episode back in a few years here. I want to thank tonight's episode sponsors, The Shores Treatment and Recovery, Ability Sober House, All About Recovery Inc., and Destination Hope Inc. Through those guys over the years, we have been able to really do a lot of stuff for the community, and that's really what Rockers in Recovery and RIR Radio and, of course, RIR Magazine has been about for the last several years. We've been part of the recovery community since 2008, and our goal always was and is today to support and help people in the community that are looking for ways to be able to find help. What we like to do, and it's the most important thing as far as we're concerned, is to carry the message of hope forward. I got lost. Not a lot of the people that are part of Rockers in Recovery, but I personally got lost in carrying that message. And I'm so glad that I had some people recently that came into my life that helped me to see that it isn't about money, property, and prestige. It isn't about all of those things. It's about being able to carry a message and be of maximum service to God and the people about me. And I'm glad that Rockers in Recovery is still here, and most importantly, I'm glad that I'm still here. And I'm glad that Lori and, of course, Stephanie and Lyle and all the rest of the people that support what we do are in place, and we love them very much. The good news is that, Rockers in Recovery over the years has done all kinds of different things. We've done rock concerts across the country. We've done 21 concert productions across the United States. We have done a lot of different things to be able to, help the community face to face. And, we have our next event coming up, which will be in February 2016. And the venue is going to be C.B. Smith Park. And we're looking at, of course, what we do every year. It's our 5th annual Rockers in Recovery Music Fest. A little bit of a difference with Rockers in Recovery now. What we're doing is we are not doing a bunch of concerts across the United States anymore. Not only did it take its toll on me, but financially it just didn't work with sponsors and a lot of other folks. So I think that the opportunity to be able to help people was there, and we did help a lot of people through that process, took away from my own personal recovery, and most importantly, that is the most important thing to me. So I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad I'm here to be able to speak with everybody, and again, I'm glad I'm breathing. We have C4, who has been a part of Rockers in Recovery. She came down for the festival, this past festival, and she donates of her time. She shows up. She's a great lady. She actually travels with her kids, which is incredible. And she goes to a lot of the Rockers in Recovery productions. And she's going to be back down this year for, of course, the Rockers in Recovery Music Fest. And that's February 13th, 2016, and we're looking forward to a lot of great stuff and a lot of people being announced for that. But C4 is a great, great writer, songwriter, and she is also a person that carries the recovery message through her music. She also has the C4 band. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring, of course, C4 on and ask her to tell you a little bit more about it. C4, how you doing tonight?
Hi, John. I'm great. How are you?
Can't complain. Hey, listen, I was just, explaining to everybody what you do, and, a little bit, and that you're a producer, you write your own music, you're a singer-songwriter, you're the manager of the C4 band. You've got a lot of hats. You're wearing a lot of hats. Do you think that you can give us a little bit more detail about that?
I definitely can. I have 15 years clean and sober, and as a child I sang all the time to Pat Benatar and all the rock and roll and folk artists of the, back in the 70s and 80s, and the drugs just took over my life. Although I was in the industry, it was a lost dream of mine, and I got clean, and about 5 or 6 years into my recovery, I thought, you know what, I really want to pick up singing again. And I thought if I write my own songs, then I just basically can no one can fire me from a band, but I can also maintain creative control and express myself through music and art, and it gives me a great focus, and I was able to, it actually gels well with being a mother as well in recovery. So,
how does it gel well with being a mother? Explain that.
Well, I dropped the kids off at school before they went to school. It's something I could do with them at the house. You know, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mother, and so I could focus on my music. And I took songwriting lessons at Evans Music City in Houston, Texas, for 4 years with a great teacher called Norman Stewart, and they really fostered the original creative part of my learning. I did learn a lot of theory and things like that. I also picked up the xylophone and djembe while I was there, and my children were involved in that. So it's a sort of a family process, and now I use the music to give hope and inspire other addicts and alcoholics in recovery and in the industry as well, because they see a girl who's got the courage to step out on a dream and faith and do it sober. So it's been a great instrument.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
That is so cool. Now, do you? I know that you've come to a few of the Rockers in Recovery productions. Do you do that with a lot of different productions around the country, sober productions, where you show up and you play, or how does that work for you?
I do. I mean, working with Rockers in Recovery is a huge dream that's come to life for me. The people I get to work with, from the addict all the way to the amazing rock stars and directors and the other people that give of themselves. But I do a lot of fundraisers for AA and NA and various different other recovery groups. I carry messages into rehab all the time, and as well as other organizations. I just have been able to use this gift as a inspiration to all kinds of people inside the recovery world and out in the mainstream society.
It's funny because you brought up the going into treatment centers. Back in 2012, we had implemented the Rockers in Recovery Unplugged sets that we had done, around the country. And we also would go into treatment programs and all of that. How was that experience for you? Because I watched that experience firsthand, and it was amazing to see how it not only it would affect me too. You know what I mean? I would be there and I would be listening to the music, and it would bring me to sometimes, goosebumps and tears. And I watched other people that were in like detox or treatment that it really brought up a lot of emotions for them, and they were literally, the counselors were right there to be able to speak with them. It was an amazing process to watch happen.
How did
that work for you?
I love to go into rehabs and treatment centers and speak as not only a rock star but an addict. For me to be able to show ultimately that you can get free from the chains or the dragons or, the addictions, and you can actually forge a life for yourself, and it may be a nurse. You might want to be a truck driver. For me, it ended up being rock star. You may want to be a teacher or whatever that dream is inside of you. And that's been my biggest message when I go into those rehabs or I'm playing at a fundraiser or any kind of anniversary party, conventions, things like that, is to inspire the hope that whatever that dream is that got lost inside of them, that they too can find their own freedom from drugs and alcohol and gambling and create a life that fits for them, clean.
I love it. What do you think the impact of the music is when you're sitting there and you're playing your songs and the impact on the clients? What is that impact like?
For me, the impact is normally, honestly, if she can do it, then I can do it. The words of the music create, just a peaceful vibe and feeling for people, but ultimately the the message I get personally from helping to inspire other people is that if she can get through what she's been through and make something of her life that brings her joy and peace and serenity and freedom, then I can too. And it helps me to spark inside of them, I wonder, what did I lose along the way? Who can I be? Who am I? And how can I get there? And that's where the steps and the inspiration come from for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're in that position and you're watching somebody like yourself, it's like, wow, something. You almost get in touch with your own artistic side, so that way you can start to have some fun with your recovery. It opens up that whole fun part of it too. And I think that's part of the issue is we went for many years. I know I did, thinking that hey, listen, once you get clean, you're done. What are you going to do? Life's a bummer. And that's not the case at all. It opens up such a brand new life with a lot of great things to be able to do with your life and your family and your loved ones, and it just improves a thousandfold. If you're working the steps and you're living the reality of recovery. Where are you when you said you're 15 years clean, correct?
Yes.
Do you find yourself in a position where you're able to sponsor people and do those types of things and work with others? Because that's, part of our recovery plan of action is to, clean house and help others. You know what I mean? Do you find that that is difficult to be able to work those two things together? And how important is that to your recovery?
Service work is vital. Sponsorship is vital to my recovery. I have sponsees in Texas, Alabama, Nashville. I can't even. Those are the ones I can think of right now. I Skype and do step work. I text. We talk on the phone. Wow. I have sponsees. I have sponsored people in AA. I love the steps and traditions. I've studied them extensively, both in AA, NA, Celebrate Recovery. I don't have a lot of experience with CA. I love it. I've been to meetings. I just don't gravitate in that area. But I sponsor and live to serve addicts. And I teach my family that we are a family that helps people. And so they know that I live to help others, to give hope and inspire, and to let them know that no matter how far off the beam you may or may not be, or if drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, I don't know what your particular addiction is, but there is hope and there's a solution, and it's available to all, and that's what I want to do. That's what I do.
I love it. Hey, listen, just so everybody can know, because we're coming down to the end of the segment with yourself, and I just want people to be able to find where they can find your music out of course. Where can they go to find out more about C4 and your music?
Okay, that's great. I've actually been documenting my life for about the last 6 years in a webisode and video documentary that I call Zero to Rockstar. And you can find out all about me and the journey of following my dream and help you to follow your dream at www.thec4band.com. And you can find me there. It'll take you to my YouTube, Facebook, Reverb Nation, all those accounts. And I really look forward to meeting you all and hearing your stories. And I hope to be friends with all of you. Thank you, John.
Yeah. That's beautiful, and thank you. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you, and most importantly, for you to be a part of what we're doing here at Rockers in Recovery. And you're a great lady. You sure are.
Thank you. You're awesome, too. Thanks for all you do. Take care, y'all, out there in radio land. We'll see you again. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you go. C4, great lady. And, of course, it's about carrying a message. And we all do it in our own unique way, and she does it through her music. And we have the opportunity in our own unique ways and through our art or through how we go out and help people, it might be just picking up chairs. It might just be going to a meeting and giving somebody some hope. It might be walking down the street and give maximum service to God and the people about us. It doesn't have to be just a person, that's in recovery. It can be anybody that needs help, and that's what we're here to be able to do, is carry that message forward. I'm blessed in the fact that I've been able to, come back to a point where I understand today that it's more about helping others than it is anything else. What comes out of it is strictly up to God and God's vision. When Rockers in Recovery first started back in 2008, it was a very interesting thing. It was doing an interview on the radio. We were on terrestrial radio at that time for 16 hours a week, 7 days a week. And we were talking back then to somebody that was like C4. And at the break, a person called and said, "Hey, listen, who is that rocker?" And it was amazing, the inspiration of that radio show. And Lori went home and we checked online, and we found, we searched Rockers in Recovery, and all we found was a rocking chair, a refurbished rocking chair, which we thought was apropos at the time. So we kicked in and launched Rockers in Recovery, and it's been an amazing journey. One of the things that I've learned recently is that there's my personal journey, and then there's the journey of Rockers in Recovery, and you tend to mix the two. And you think, when I start thinking that Rockers in Recovery is part of my personal recovery, I'm in big trouble. So I am going to bring on our next guest, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about recovery, and her name is Stephanie. And Stephanie is part of the Ability Sober House out of West Palm Beach, and a huge supporter of Rockers in Recovery, and a huge supporter of me too personally. And Stephanie, are you with us?
Yes. Hey, John. How's it going?
Good. Hey, listen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Can you just tell a little bit about yourself as far as you personally and your recovery walk, and and what got you to the point where you were like, okay, hands up, I surrender?
All right. Well, that's a long show, isn't it, John?
However, yeah, we could spend 3 hours on that one.
I mean, I came from a family of long list of alcoholics and addicts, and thank goodness here I am today. But I was in my first treatment center at 14, John. There was a bunch of gentlemen who probably were in their 60s, and that was a different kind of experience back then. These days they don't let adolescents with adults. However, it's been a long journey, and it really took what it took for me. I continued to relapse throughout my young adult life, thinking that, I'm going to outgrow it. I'm going to overcome this because I just wasn't mature, and I've learned my lesson, and here I am a long time later, we'll say. And, and been lucky enough to work in the field for the past 12 years. And, it's been a journey. And today I help other people who've gone down that same path as myself. I have worked in, quite a bunch of different components, inpatient treatment and detox, and even when I've gotten away from the field of recovery, I found myself drawn back to it. After my personal struggles with my addiction and seeing, the devastation that addiction and alcoholism, how it affects the family and everybody around the addict, I just, like I said, I was drawn back into it, It's been a long journey, but also an enlightening one. Thank goodness. I'm still learning stuff. I have my men's halfway house in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we're kind of an old school type of establishment, and kind of getting back to the basics. And there's a lot of new stuff out there, which is great. I'm all for whatever can help somebody, whatever gets them across that bridge and into safety. And, I'm always super excited for for the new person to learn, figure out what they need to do to survive this disease, because that's really what it's about, is people learning how to survive. So, we, like I said, we're trying to get back to the basics here and get
when we talk about getting back to the basics.
I'm
when
sorry.
We talk about getting back to the when we talk about getting back to the basics, and you're right. I mean, there's a lot of alternative approaches out there now. I mean,
right.
They have the treatment programs with music. They got treatment programs with holistic approaches. They got treatment programs. I mean, there's so many different things out
right.
there now that I think sometimes we get past, the approach of, hey, listen, sit down with the sponsor and do your step work and get through the process of working the steps and doing those things that are, once we get out of treatment, what are we going to do? It's not just about, hey, listen, music is great, but it isn't just about how we're going to play our guitar and stay sober today. It's about working a program of recovery. And I have to do that, through the steps. And if I stop doing that, eventually I'm going to be drunk. It's happened to me, I know. So,
right.
So with that being said, what is the components that you see that are old school that make a difference?
Well, one of the first things I do is, I kind of force my clients to bond. In the day, in this age of technology and Facebook and computers and cell phones, I can, if I allow it, I can have a house full of guys that never say two words to each other. So, I really, encourage them. I mean, that's what I learned when I got here, is that we're here for each other. It takes two addicts to make a meeting, or, and I feel that that's still, an important, mark that we miss. I've seen house full of guys who, know little to nothing about each other, except that they all have an alcohol and drug program. So I really, put the screws to them to get to know one another and be supportive and share a little bit about themselves and what their battle and their struggle has been and what their character defects and their weaknesses. And, if I don't know the guy laying next to me, I definitely don't know how to, know if he's struggling or if he needs, an ear. So that's one of the things I start with in the house itself. And then I encourage them, they're required to be a sponsor, and they have to utilize that sponsor. They have to, I kind of give them someone you're trusting your stuff with, and you need them to be there for you. He's not the big scary person. You're allowed to walk up to him and say, hey, are you available to meet with me once a week? Hey, do you have a sponsor? How long has it been since you were at the steps? Why would I rely on a guy that's not doing the same thing that I'm being requested to do? That's a big one, the sponsor and participation. And then, of course, their meetings.
One of the things I was going to ask you to do, I don't know if you're walking and talking, but if you could just stay put in one area because the signal is going in and out for you, so that way people can hear exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
All right. All good.
So that's, just trying to get them to, create a group of people that they can kind of support so that they're not alone, because they walk in these doors thinking that, I love to use the terminology that they're terminally unique, that their story and their journey's been different. However, the bottom line is they're all struggling to survive. So I try to focus on the commonalities as opposed to the differences between people. And so, and I also, the other thing is I encourage them to participate in activities that people are out there having a good time. Come into the Rockers in Recovery concert. Everybody, let's go. We're going. This is, this is what it's about. You're able to have fun in recovery. It's not all, misery and work and, it's about finding a balance. And I know in this field. That's what I feel, bottom line every day is provide them with a safe environment so that they are able to create that balance for themselves. And because I know that's what's worked in my life and people before me, is when I start to get off balance and things get heavier on one side than the other, then, I find myself setting myself up for stressors and, different things. And, if you're creating that balance in your life, then things much, recovery is a lot smoother.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I think that's, you're absolutely right, and I'm glad that you brought, your thoughts forward. What we want to be able to do is have people know where they can reach out to you. So if you could, please give your website.
Okay, it's www.abilitysoberhouse.com.
And your phone number.
And my phone number is 561-502-7874. And just thought I'd say, I answer my phone 24 hours a day. It's just something that I feel I'm called to do. If I cannot provide a service myself, then I'm always willing to point someone in the right direction or back to yourself, John. I know we have a great network. And so, yeah, my phone's always on. I'm always looking to help somebody.
I love it. And something we appreciate all of the support and love that you have shown to Rockers in Recovery and myself personally over the last few years. And the Shores Treatment and Recovery Center, and of course Ability Sober House, All About Recovery Inc., Destination Hope, and a whole bunch more can be found at rockersinrecovery.com. They're part of the network. And they're the guys that you guys step up to the plate and help this to happen. You help the radio show to take place. You help the magazine to get out there. You help the events to happen. It's through your sponsorship and your commitment that takes place. And Rockers in Recovery, being a branding and marketing company that is really a media company, helps everything to kind of come together and put it out to the masses. And again, if it wasn't for folks like yourself, we wouldn't be sitting here. So we want to thank you and thank everybody that's involved with you also.
Thanks, John.
You're the best. So we're going to talk soon with Stephanie. I'm sure she'll be back on. Stephanie, I want to thank you for calling in and being a part of tonight's show.
Thanks, John.
It's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of the show. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you go, folks. That's the show tonight. We're doing short shows. We're doing only half-an-hour shows, and we're doing them twice a week. We're going to do them Sunday nights and Wednesday nights. And for right now, what we're going to be doing, it's on Wednesday nights. We're just going to reproduce the Sunday night show. We want to make it as simple as possible. You can listen to the rebroadcast anytime by going to Blog Talk Radio /RIRradio.com. Yes, we got 90 seconds to go, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in and being a part of Rockers in Recovery Radio, RIR Radio, here on Blog Talk Radio. And again, we thank everybody for the support and love that you have shown us, and the many emails and many phone calls and all of the things that you guys do to help us realize that we need to keep carrying the message of hope right here through Rockers in Recovery. What we can't do alone, we can definitely do together, that's for sure. So, again, thank you for all your support. And you have a great night. You can check us out at rockersinrecovery.org or rockersinrecovery.com. And, again, thank you so much for tuning in.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.